Hi, my name is C. Anjali Singh, and today in this video we'll discuss on the deductions under chapter 6A from ETC to ATU, which will eventually help you to save the tax by tax planning and tax avoidance. So here in this video we'll be discussing for the deductions available in the old tax regime for salaried person, self-employed, HUF company, etc. So first of all we'll go with the ETC deductions. The first point we have to note here is the deductions under section 80C, 80CCC and 80CCD1. The maximum limit available in total is only 1,50,000. That means cumulative limit of all these three sections summing up comes to 1,50,000, the maximum limit. So first we will discuss with the ATC deductions. ATC deductions I have distributed into three parts. One is market linked investment, second is fixed income investment, and the third is other investments. So market linked investments. So there comes to ELSS and ULIP returns. ELSS is equity linked savings scheme, and ELSS is the only kind of mutual fund eligible for tax benefits under section 80C. These funds come with a lock-in period for just 3 years, the shortest among all section 80C investments. Investing in ELCC funds gives you the benefit of tax deductions as well as wealth creation. The portfolio of an ELSS fund mostly consists of equities, while they have some exposure towards fixed income securities as well. Now the second, ULIP returns, that is unit linked insurance plans. This offers more returns in the long term when compared to conventional insurance policies. The two main pillars of wealth management is having an insurance, medical and term both, whereas investing in equities. To get a mix of both of these characteristics of financial planning, ULIP is one of the suitable options. In ULIP investment, a small portion of money is invested towards securing your life and rest is invested in equities. Now comes with the PPF and EPF. PPF is Public Provident Fund, where any individual can make the contributions for the tax deduction. So whatever amount they are depositing in the PPF account will be eligible for tax deduction. One point to note here is whatever interest you will be earning on this PPF investment is tax free. Next is EPF, Employee Provident Fund. It is only eligible for employees who have continued his or her service for at least 5 years. If the individuals make voluntary contributions to their EPF account, such amount is eligible for tax exemption under section 80C. Next is NSC, National Savings Certificate. It is one of the most popular tax saving instruments for risk avert individuals. Interest earned on NSC is compounded semi-annually and the maximum maturity ranges from 5 to 10 years. Next is tax saving FD, which the banks offer and the post office also offer, that allow a deduction under section 80C. The FDs have a lock-in period of 5 years and offer a maximum of 1.5 lakhs tax exemption. On the principal amount, one point to note here is whatever returns you will be getting on this investment are liable for taxation. Next is Senior Citizen Savings Scheme. Under this scheme, individuals above the age of 60 and the individuals from the age of 55 to 60 who have opted for voluntary retirement can invest in Senior Citizen Savings Scheme. The scheme has a tenure of 5 years and the investments are capped at 15 lakhs. One point to note here is if the interest earned is more than 10,000 in a year, TDS will be applicable. Next, under the other investments, the first one is principal repayment made towards the home loan. Only the repayment made towards the principal component of home loan EMI are eligible under this section. Next is, which you all very well know, LIC premium and tuition fees. So the premium paid towards the life insurance policies are eligible to receive tax benefits as per ETC limit. So these exemptions are available against the policies held by self, spouse, dependent children, etc. HUF family members can also benefit from this exemption. Now comes the tuition fees. So in tuition fees, the first one is children education allowance, which is 100 per month per child up to a maximum of 2 children, and the other one is hostel expenditure allowance 300 per month per child up to a maximum of 2 children. Next is Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana is a saving scheme specially designed to meet the financial requirements for a girl's education and marriage. The interest earned from this investment scheme is eligible for tax exemption. Now comes the next, stamp duty and registration charges. Stamp duty and registration charges can be considered as the two largest expenses made towards taking ownership of the property. The Government of India allows a deduction of tax liability till ATC limit, which is 1,50,000 on the stamp duty and registration charges paid towards the house procurement. Next is infrastructure bonds. In this context, it is important to note that the difference between the tax saving bonds and the tax free bonds. First one, the tax-free bonds refer to such bonds where the interest component on the bonds is exempt from the taxation, whereas tax-saving bonds are the ones where the principal component is allowed as deduction to the investor while computing his taxable income. Thus, infrastructure bond, before investing, you have to see whether it is tax-free bond or it is tax-saving bond. Now, next section is 80CCC. In 80CCC, money spent on the purchase of any pension policy or for the extension or renewal of any existing pension policies which has been offered by the public or private sector insurers. So here you can get the exemption. Next is 80CCD1. Here the deductions is available in respect of the contribution to certain pension funds. Basically, the notified pension plans by the central government are eligible for deduction. One is National Pension Scheme and the second is Atal Pension Yojana. So the maximum deduction allowable under this section is 10% of salary in case the employer is employee, the taxpayer is employee, or 20% of the gross total income in case of self-employed. Now here we'll discuss an overview of the NPS, National Pension Scheme. So under this there are two sections, 80CCD 1B and 80CCD 2. So under 80CCD 1B, deductions available in respect of the employee's SSC's contribution to the NPS, which is actually additional other than the 1,50,000 which is covered under 80C, 80CCC and 80CCD 1. So here if you invest in NPS, so additional benefit of 50,000 is available to you and this can be claimed by any individual. Second is 80CCD 2. So here in this the deduction is available in respect of the employer's contribution to NPS and the maximum limit is 10% of the salary and the salary here means basic plus DA and it is available to employees. Now we'll see overall risk factor involved in some of the ATC deductions. So first is ELSS. There you can get an average interest of 12 to 15%, but the lock-in period is 3 years and risk factor is high. Then comes the ULIP, wherein you can get 8 to 10% return, 5 years of lock-in period and the risk factor is medium. Then comes the low risk factor, PPF, NSC, tax saving FD, senior citizen savings scheme with different interest rates, but the lock-in period for all is 5 years. Then comes the section 80D in medical insurance premium. So here 3 types of premiums are paid. First, it can be paid for self, spouse or children. The maximum limit is only 25,000. If you are paying for your parents also, but their age is less than 60 years, then for them also the upper cap limit is 25,000. But if your parents are more than 60 years of age, then you can go up to 50,000. The following expenditure should be incurred. That means for claiming the deduction under section 80D, you have to keep these in mind. First, it should be a medical premium. Second, preventive health checkup, you can claim up to 5,000 rupees. Then the medical expenditure. Here, it is only applicable in case of very very senior citizen not having a medical insurance. Then this is available for individual, and for individual if he pays any premium, medical insurance premium for self, spouse, dependent children and parents, he can claim. Second, for HUF, for Karta and co-partners are available. And the most important point which we have to keep in mind is this insurance premium should be paid other than cash. If it is paid in cash, then it would not be available for the deduction. Only the preventive health checkup can be paid in cash. Next comes section 80DD for the disabled dependent. So this deduction is available to a resident individual and HUF, and it is available on the expenditure incurred on medical treatment including nursing, training, rehabilitation of handicapped dependent relative, then payment or deposit to specified scheme for maintenance of handicapped dependent relative. So this dependent handicap can be your own family member or any relative. So here the disability is 40% or more but less than 80%. Then fixed deduction of 75,000 is claimed. And the second is when there is severe disability is 80% or more, fixed deduction of 1,25,000 can be claimed. Meanings related to section 80DD. First is dependent. So who comes under the dependent? Of the individual are spouse, children, parent, brother or sister of individual who is wholly or mainly dependent on such individual. And for the HUF, a member of HUF who is wholly or mainly dependent on such HUF. What is disability under this section? Which is defined under section 2(1) of the Persons of Disabilities Act 1995. Next comes section 80DDB, wherein deduction for expenditure incurred on medical treatment is available. It is available to a resident individual or HUF, and it is available on the expenditure which has been incurred for the medical treatment of the specified disease. And the assessee should furnish a prescription for such medical treatment from either a neurologist or oncologist or any specialized specialist. And the amount of deduction here, it is limited to if the person is very senior citizen, then 80,000, for senior citizen 60,000, other than senior citizen and very senior citizen it is limited to 40,000 only. The amount of deduction will be reduced by the amount covered through the insurance or reimbursed by the employer for the medical treatment of the assessee or dependent. So that means if you are having any insurance policy, then the amount of deduction will be reduced by the reimbursed amount. Next comes section 80E, deduction in respect of interest paid on loan taken for the higher education. So this deduction is available only to individual, and the conditions to satisfy is loan should be for the higher education only for self or relative, and it has to be from approved institution. And the period of deduction is 8 years or the actual repayment period, whichever is earlier. Next is section 80EE, deduction for interest on loan borrowed for acquisition of self-occupied house property by an individual. So here many of my clients got confused because they say that they have taken a house loan, but in this some conditions are required to be fulfilled. Only when you fulfill these conditions, then you are eligible for 80EE deductions. So we'll see what are the eligibility criteria. So deduction is available to individual only up to 50,000. And the conditions are assessee has taken the loan for his first house, that is he does not own any house when housing loan is sanctioned. And second, loan is sanctioned in financial year 16-17 onwards. Third is the value of house does not exceed 50 lakhs. The sanctioned loan amount does not exceed 35 lakhs. If the deduction of housing loan interest is taken under this section, then the same cannot be claimed under any other section. Next is section 80G, which is for donations to certain funds. or charitable institutions. It is available to all assessees. The amount of deduction is based on the donee to whom the donation is made, and there are four categories which will decide how much donation amount you have given to the donee will be available for deduction under section 80G. So the first one is 100% category without limit, then 50% category without limit. Third comes to 100% category subject to qualifying limit, and the last one 50% category subject to qualifying limit. And what is qualifying limit? Total donations made to the donees specified in category 3 and 4 should not exceed 10% of the gross total income. So here we have to keep in mind that the donation should be made to approved donee. Along with the receipt of such donation, we have to get a certificate in order to claim the deduction. The donation made in kind is not eligible for deduction. And the most important point is the donation made in cash exceeding 2000 rupees is not eligible for deduction. That means only up to 2000 you can make the donations in cash, otherwise it is not available for deduction. If you want a video on detailed learning for the 80G sections, how it is calculated, what all lists are there, who all approved donees are there, how we can see that whether we can get the deduction or not if we pay to the donee, if we donate here. So I will make a separate video on that. Please comment. The next comes to 80 section 80GG, which is deduction for rent paid. So this deduction is available for rent paid where HRA is not received. The taxpayer's spouse or minor child should not own any residential accommodation at the place of employment. Some other conditions are the taxpayer should not have self-occupied residential property in any other place. The taxpayer must be living on rent and paying rent. And last, the deduction is available to all individuals. Next comes section 80GGB, company contribution to political parties. So this deduction is available to any company which is registered in India, and the company has made contribution to any registered political party or electoral trust, and the contribution should be made in any mode other than cash. So this we have to keep in mind that in cash we cannot make any contribution. Even if you make any contribution in cash, it is not eligible for deduction. And the limit here is full amount, whatever amount you are contributing other than cash is eligible for deduction. Next comes section 80GGC, which is deduction for contribution to political parties. This section is for individual taxpayer. This section is not available for companies, artificial juridical person and local authorities. So here also the contribution should be made to a registered political party or electoral trust, and the contribution should be made in any mode other than cash. Here also full amount of contribution is available for deduction. Next is section 80TDA, wherein deduction is in respect of interest on deposits in savings account is available, and it is available to individual and HUF. Max limit is 10,000 rupees only. Interest income from the savings account with the bank, cooperative society or post office is eligible, but you have to keep in mind that only the interest part from the savings bank account is eligible for deduction. Next is section 80TTB, deduction of interest on deposits for senior citizens. So it is available only to senior citizens, and it is available on all types of savings interest like FD interest, savings bank interest, etc. And the maximum capping of this section is 50,000 rupees. Next is section 80U, deduction for persons suffering from physical disability. It is available to resident individual and the amount of deduction is 75,000. In case of serious disability, person with 80% or more disability, the amount of deduction will be 1,25,000. The assessee should have a copy of certificate from the approved medical authority at the time of filing the ITR, and some more information regarding this is what are the disability. What is disability definition for this section? So the Some diseases are actually listed down, which are blindness, low vision, leprosy, hearing impairment, locomotor disability, mental retardation, mental illness, and some are listed under severe disability, which includes multiple disabilities, autism, and cerebral palsy. One point to note here is if you are taking any deduction under section 80U, then you must not take any deduction under section 80DDB, which is actually for the disability section also. So that means only under one section you can get the deduction, not from both the sections. I hope I am very much clear about how you can save your taxes by these deductions. And if you need any other help, please comment down on the section. I will definitely help you out. Thank you.